Good evening, dear students. Surya Teja, hi. Santosh, hello. Murlidhar, Ujjuri, hi. Rajgopal, good evening. Teja Kumari, hi. Durga Prasad Naidu, hi. Uh, Today's session is computer system validation as per GAMP-5. Okay. So session will start within 4 to 5 minutes. Uh, we will wait till 10 students are seeing now. Praveen, hi. Uh,
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Raviraj Patel. I warm welcome all of you. And today's session is for how computer system validation is ongoing during all project stage and during operation phase. And we already conducted two sessions. First is for documentation, means deliverables of CSV. Second one is V model, which represent how the documents is going to inflow with V model. And this third session is for how computer system validation defined during validation plan and many key terms used during the process and throughout the validation.
17 members are watching, sir. We will wait another 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, no issue.
Okay. Uh, Please send me your full name, what you want in your certificate, and email ID to my WhatsApp number. I will message our group also. Send your full name, not SG, full name. Means my name is Srikant Gorantla. Write Srikant Gorantla, email ID. I will send a soft copy of certificate uh, before 30th September. Okay. Though our session completed 25th, I want another 4 5 days uh, to send you all certificates. Send me your name, full name, and your email ID. Okay, and material also 25th evening after last class you will get material, full material.
Okay,
Okay, 21 members are watching, sir. Uh, we will start.
is it is
We will wait another 803 happen. We will wait another 2 minutes. If we,
okay.
Gopal Krishna, good evening. Most of the people are calling me in working hours. Please avoid doing calls. Whatever your query, may WhatsApp me. I will reply you within 1 or 2 hours or another evening. Okay. Material I am telling another time. Material you will get material at the end of the session, and it will all cover notes not required, PPT not required. Material covered all the things. Material is nothing but like PPT only. Durga Prasad Naidu, hi. Komuri, hi. Uh, okay, sir. Take your time. Start the class.
Okay, thank you. Is this visible to everyone? So can I start?
Yes, yes. Start, sir, please.
Okay. So the session is for computer system validation as per GAMP-5. So today we cover types of validation based on the process, life cycle phases of the system, supplier assessment means validation means a vendor assessment, which we can say that identify GXP system, for which on which we identify the GXP system, and then key turn means key individuals used during the validation plan preparation and throughout the life cycle of phases of system. Means it's process owner, system owner, quality unit, corporate quality, operational quality, subject matter expert, supplier, and end user. So this is the index which we are going to today. So types of validation based on the process. Many validations are there. We can say that it's a cleaning validation. Means smoke studies are there, but on based on process, there are types of validation. First one is prospective validation. Second one is concurrent validation. Third one is retrospective validation, and fourth one is revalidation. So based on the process, these four types of validation are used in pharma industry, in we can say in CROs and any GXP related system. So first one, prospective validation. Prospective validation means it's a beginning of the project. It's start with validation plan. When we want to establish some system, so it's a initial phase of the system. Then it's we can say that the prospective validation criteria is used. So it is the development stage. Also, prospective validation called as pre-market validation or pre-plan validation. So prospective validation it's criteria to define how the project is will or ongoing. So it says establishing documented evidence prior to process implementation that the system does what it proposed to do based on the pre-planned protocol. In fact, validation of process by this approach often leads to transfer of the manufacturing process from the development function to production. And this type of validation is generally used in pharma industry, as we know that without planning, we cannot combine all things and interlink many departments. So during validation plan, we define what will be the functionality is there and how the project is going on. Second one is concurrent validation. Concurrent means it's a ongoing process. The validation during the ongoing process means yeah, which is it's carried out during a regular production stage. It is based on complete exam. Means production is there, means batch is running. During this type of validation is performed. This approach involves monitoring of critical processing steps and end product testing of current production to show that the manufacturing process is in a validated stage. Means it's in control, and it's the process based on prospective validation. So during concurrent validation, the batch is manufactured, and the validation is parallel activity during the manufacturing. If validation is comply throughout the batch manufacturing, then you can release the batch. Either you have to justify whatever the issue or whatever the functionality is not working there, based on deviation or investigation. There is kappa is there, so you can release the batch based on the kappa and the justification of deviation. Then retrospective validation is the third type of validation. It is the historical validation. We can say that validation based on the predefined criteria, predefined reports and audit trials. It's based on already generated documentation, which are already we got from the system, or we can say from software. So it's a testing of data which is previously manufactured by the system, means generated by the system. It's include the trend analysis, audit trail analysis, report analysis. To extend the process is within the permissible range of the process parameters. This type of approach is rarely used. If you got any warning letters or any suggestion from the regulatory agency or from audit, so based on the warnings or the suggestion, we can analyze the data which is generated from the reports or audit trail of the system. So this type of validation is rarely used in pharma industry, because without surety or any assurance we can't proceed for the production. So this type of validation used based on warning letters or any points from audit or internal, or we can say that external audit. Then revalidation. It's the last one. Revalidation means repeating the original validation efforts. It's maybe in after 3 years or after 5 years. It's check some critical data which are generated or critical functionality of the system. It include the investigative review of the existing performance of the system. This approach is essential to maintain the validated status of the plant, equipment, manufacturing process, and complex system. Revalidation is needed to assure that modification or any changes are there during operation. So revalidation ensures that any functionality is added or removed from the system, or it doesn't or it not working properly. So during revalidation, we find out the gaps between current scenario of the validation to fulfill the our requirement and to comply with the regulatory agency. So revalidation is generally used happen based on criticality of the system and the functionality of the system. So this four type of validation is used in during process. So prospective validation is based on project, means as we define in validation plan. Concurrent validation is parallel activity which are going during production. Retrospective validation is we can say it's after validation, means after process is ongoing, we validate the system to comply the regulatory requirements or any observation. And revalidation is the one type of periodic validation to fulfill that our system is working fine after some years or some delay, or not. And this is the life cycle phases of the system based on GAMP-5. So GAMP-5 describe that four phases of system. First one is concept, second one is project, then operation, then retirement. These four phases of system means uh, the system build based on your concept, the project build based to implement the system, then system is used by the users, it means operation phase, then retirement phase means if you want doesn't want to use that system, or you if you have another system to absolute this system, then it's a retirement phase. So concept phase is your requirement, means we can say that it's your user requirement specification, URS. During concept, you confirm that we want to moving from our routine activity to automation of the process. So it's include the justifying the project commencement, means we want this type of system in our process in our production department. Then based on your requirement, so company raise the URS, means this type of requirement which we want. So based on URS, vendor is finalized, and the project stage is started. Means planning, then based on your requirement, vendor provide your specification, design, coding. Then based on specification, verification is there. Means validation activities performed, which is meet or not with your URS, means your concept phase. Then reporting and release of the software. So in project phase, we verify that our concept, means our URS is meeting or not. If it is ready to use, or the configuration is there to fulfill our requirement. After all URS point are meet with system, based on in a project phase, system is ready to use. So it's moving forward to operation phase. So during operation, it's a handover to system owner to use the system for routine operation. So during operation, many challenges are there. If someone want changes in functionality or in process of the system, then it's going to change by change management system, means we can say in QMS. Then periodic review is there. Then service management and performance monitoring of the system is there. And the security and system administration, means IT related security, antivirus or server stability is there. Then load testing is there. So if anything found during routine operation which is not doesn't want to be happen, so it will be handled by incident management system. And we can say that kappa, corrective action and preventive action. So what is the correction of that deviation or the incident, and what is the preventive action? So we eliminate the uh, thing which doesn't which will not happen or will not be repeated. Then record management, means during operation many change controls, kappas or incident management, or we can say that incidents are there. So it will be recorded with a proper justification and with proper process of documentation. Then if we found another system based on replica, or based on we want to use another system better than this. So uh, the system which are we currently using, it will be absolute, means it will not be no longer used. So retirement phase is there. So during retirement, so the withdrawal of the records and the system server stored data, decommissioning, disposal of document, archival of reports, audit trials, and system generated data. So then data migration is there, means if we fetch some reports or data to on a new one system, then data migration is used. So this scenario is from uh, system born to system death, means the concept, project, operation, retirement. These four phases as per GAMP-5 of any system. So moving to next slide. Supplier assessment. What is supplier assessment? So supplier means a vendor who produce the system, who make the system as per our requirement to fulfill our URS. So supplier provide a system to match or to fulfill the requirement which is given by the company, or we can say that by system owner. So supplier is an organization or individual. It may be internal or external to the user, associated with the supply and support of product or services at any phase. Means it's a concept, project, operation, or it's a retirement phase throughout the system life cycle. So supplier assessment is one type of documentation to verify that the supplier or vendor said that vendor is capable to provide the system based on our requirement or not. So, regulated companies should consider formally assessing each supplier for GXP regulated computer system and services. The assessment approach should be based on the criticality of the system service being provided. Documented justification should be provided for not assessing supplier of GXP regulated system services. So, based on supplier assessment, we verify that the vendor is capable to provide the system. It will helpful in every stage of the system life cycle, or we verify that it's comply the regulatory requirement or a GXP requirement in system, or it provide which type of documents during validation process. So supplier assessment verify different things of how the system is built and which type of service he provided. During supplier assessment, many topics are covered to verify that the supplier is capable to provide the system or not. So, reason for carrying out supplier assessment. So, why supplier assessment required? Different type of assessments means we can categorize based on the our requirement or based on our QA system or compliance strategy. Assessment process on-site or postal audits means we audit the vendor based on our requirement or our checklist at the site or online on digital platform, or joint and said audit reports. We give many observation or suggestion to during this audit. So based on our audit, they have must have to response to that. They change their strategy or documentation system based on our observation. Then corporate audits is also there. Supplier preparation for an audit, supplier certification, internal standards and certification means it is standard company means ISO certified is there. Any standardization is there. So we can verify certificates and registration of the company is there, how the employee workflow, how their employees trained, and which are the criteria for system development, and how they handle the any project, and how many times required to fulfill the project, and when we deliver the project. Based on your in previous history of the vendor, we utilize that it is fulfill our requirement or not. So on that basis, we conclude that how our project is going with this vendor. So supplier assessment is must required to verify the vendor is capable to provide the system based on your requirement or not. And next one is identify GXP system. As we already discussed during session one, what is GXP? So GXP is a good practice. It's defined by Food and Drug Administration means FDA for industries that are heavily regulated. So organization in the life sciences, including biotechnology, medical device, pharma industries, have requirements set out to ensure products manufactured are safe and meet the strict quality standard throughout the entire process of production. So this GXP guideline means good practice is given by FDA, means US FDA. An organization that is highly regulated must have fully trained staff with clearly defined responsibilities to ensure procedures are followed. So staff must be well trained based on training procedure of the industry. The procedure must be clearly defined for users, for system functionality, and the process of the product manufacturing, well documented and consistent to cover all critical processes. So any critical parameter are there. So for that critical functionality, system must be defined. So premises and equipment should have established measures, schedule and records, while products have specification for testing, sampling, status control and records. So GXP is good practice, where G for good and P for practice is the compliance that a particular industry should adopt as part of individual audit compliance. So G stands for good, P stands for practice, and X is a one type of variable or say character which may vary based on your process or your system. So if it is a GMP, then we can call as good manufacturing practice. If it is a GLP, then we can say that it's a good laboratory practice. If it is a GDP, then it is good documentation practice. If it is GCP, then it is a good clinical practice. So based on this criteria, GXP is defined and used during system development or during uh, product development. So, how we verify that system is GXP or not? As we already discussed during deliverables of computer system validation, one GXP assessment is document is there. So based on some questionnaire, we can verify that the system is in under GXP environment or not. So this is the summary of that question. The system is used to monitor, control, or supervise a GXP manufacturing or packing process and have the potential to affect product quality, safety, identity, or efficacy. The system is used for GXP analytical quality control. If GXP records are there, audit trail is there, 20 as per 20 CFR, electronic records, electronic signature is there, then it must be in GXP system. So we can say that it is GXP system. So if records are used during manufacturing process, if records are authenticated, if record is required to prepare BMR, BPR, then it must be a GXP system. The system is used for GXP in analytical quality control, means any lab instrument which is used to verify the critical parameters or product. So it is in GXP environment. The system manipulates data, uh, product reports, as I already said that. So it is in GXP system. So system is used for GXP batch record. The system is used to maintain compliance with the GXP requirement. The system is used to monitor, control, or supervise warehouse or distribution within the GXP requirement. If anyone, if any question of this question is yes, so based on the question, we can say that this system have GXP impact or it is in GXP category. So we must have to validate the system as per GAMP-5 if it is in GXP category. If all question get answer is no, then the system is non-GXP. So it doesn't require validation or any documentation which to prove during audit or any regulatory agencies. So many systems are in non-GXP, just like HR management system, just like just uh, simple entry exit system is there. So this type of system which are not considering in GXP. So no any validation is required for that. Then moving to the next, we verify some terminology or say key individuals which will used during validation or during system life cycle. This criteria or these key individuals are defined as per GAMP-5. So during project stage, if these functionality, these roles are not defined, so no one can ensure for that who will handle any miscommunication or any problem is occur, any deviation is there. So during validation, or we can say during preparation of validation plan, these roles must be defined. So in future, anyone can say that who is responsible for this event, for this discrepancy, for this occurrence, or for this process. So we moving to the next, we verify or we learn one by one. First one is process owner. So process owner is owner of the process, who know how the process is ongoing and how to prepare the product. So the person ultimately responsible for the business process or process being managed during production of the during production. This person is usually the head of functional unit or department using that system, although the role should be based on specific knowledge of the process. So process owner have the knowledge of process, not the system. So it's whatever the position is there in organization, it may vary. The process owner is responsible for ensuring that the computerized system and its operation is compliance with the standard operating procedure manufacturing or for process. So responsibility of process owner to control system access and agree between process and system owner. In some company, process owner may also be the system owner. So the system owner, it's have owning the system, is owner of the system. So we can say that it's a system owner. If if a process owner know the process based on criticality, based on standard operating procedure which is defined in industry in that company, and owner and responsibility of process owner is that to meet our process with the regulatory requirement. So activity of process owner is approval of key documentation as defined by plan and SOP, providing adequate resources for process to support development and operation of the system, ensuring adequate training for the end user to make process smooth, ensuring that SOP requires for operation of the system exist, are followed, and are reviewed periodically to meet acceptation with system and operator means users, ensuring any changes for operation which will be approved and well managed by the process owner, reviewing the process with SOP, assessment audit reports, responding to the findings for process, and taking appropriate action to ensure that GXP system is as per GXP compliance, and coordination with other groups means other departments to make a process smooth and improve the efficiency of production or process. So this is the activity or responsibility of the process owner. And moving to the next, system owner. It is a system owner have the ownership of the system. Is ultimately responsible for availability, support, and maintenance of the system, and for the security of the data on that system. This person usually the head of the department, or we can say that if head of the department in production, so system is under that so owner ownership of the system, we can say it's a system owner. So the system owner for system support maintenance throughout the role should be based on specific knowledge of the system rather than position of the position in organization. So based on knowledge of the system, the process owner have the responsibility of the system. So system owner is the have a responsibility of the system to maintain it, to calibrate during calibration or any changes if we want. So system owner writes the requirement, means a URS is designed by system owner. The system owner is responsible for ensuring that the computerized system is supported and maintained in accordance with the applicable SOP. Responsibility for control of system access should be agreed between process and system owner. So based on requirement of system owner, system is built, and based on requirement of process owner, the process is defined and used during production. In some cases, system owner may be the process owner. If it is a small industry, then both responsibility of system owner and process owner have any one person. So it's may vary, depends upon company size and the process and QA compliance point of view, that who is the process owner and system owner in that company. The activity of the system owner, that approval of key documentation is defined by plan and SOP, ensuring that SOP requires for maintenance of the system, means any maintenance, periodic maintenance is there, any calibration is there. So it will be under the category of system owner. Ensuring changes are managed, ensuring the availability of information for the system, inventory and configuration management, means in future any changes or any kappa or any minor modification in the system, so the ownership of that changes is under the system owner. So system owner have to verify the changes and documentation is there, and prove that changes is established, well defined, and is it meets our requirement. So these are the all functionality or activity are under system owner. To ensuring the availability of information for the system, providing adequate resources, means personnel including SMEs are there, subject matter expert, then financial resources, approval of financial or budget, it's under system owner. To support the system, reviewing audit reports, responding to findings based on system, and taking appropriate action to ensure GXP compliance throughout system lifecycle, coordinating input from other groups, means other departments. Then moving to next one is quality unit. We generally say quality compliance, quality assurance is there. So quality term, means quality unit, is used here as an encompassing term that includes many quality related roles. As I already said, that QA compliance is there. It's based on the company's requirement and company strategy. So quality related roles are there that are important to developing and managing a regulated computerized system. The manner in which a quality unit addresses the responsibility may vary based on the applicable regulations. The quality unit has a key role to play in successful planning, managing the compliance with regulatory and fitness for intended use of computerized system, and provides an independent role. So, the activity of quality unit is that approval of audit of key documentation such as policies is there, procedure, acceptance criteria, plans and reports, focus on quality critical aspect. So quality unit have the focus on quality, not for system, not for process, but the quality of all process system is based on requirement or not, or it supports a regulatory agency or not. And quality unit have to take randomly internal audit is there, so involvement of SMEs, to improve the quality, approval of changes that potentially affect patient safety, product quality, or data integrity, audit processes, as I already said, and supporting documentary evidence to verify that compliance activities are effective. The role may split into corporate operational quality depending on organization. As I already said, the quality assurance department is there, so it's under in quality unit. Quality compliance is there, so it's also in under quality unit. And corporate quality. This group is one type of quality unit, and it's a higher authority or verify with regulations. So this group operates at the corporate level, and it is responsible for setting policy, maintaining and oversight of company standard, auditing for compliance, reviewing effectiveness of quality system and process. Regulatory authorities require the corporate quality unit to be independent of the business activity. If system is huge and in large scale, then corporate quality is there. Either QA role is comply with the quality unit and corporate quality. So corporate quality is more than quality assurance. Means if quality assurance department is there, then who ensure that quality assurance department is work as per regulatory agency or not? Then corporate quality unit come into the picture to verify the QA also and all departments and the process and the system. So we generally say that corporate quality is more knowledge, more interlinked with regulatory authorities and operational quality. So this quality unit is a division or business unit. Means during operation, if quality is met or not, the this operation quality unit have to verify the quality only during the operation phase. This group is involved in the compliance of GXP regulated computerized system within the division of business unit. Activities of operational quality is implementation of quality standard and procedure for the development and operation of computerized system, reviewing risk assessment and control activities based on the process, support of project phase, means life cycle phases of the system activity is defined in computerized system validation plan, support of life cycle processes such as change control and document management. So operational quality is one type of internal QA for that department. If you are going to validate the system, some knowledgeable person which have the knowledge means SME of the CSV is there in that department, so you can proceed the CSV documentation fastly. So operational quality is the internal quality of that department. So it's verify the system as well as the process. So activities of operational quality is training related to computerized system quality and compliance. So after all validation activity is over, system is handed over to the system owner. Then operational quality verify that the all users or say operators supervisors are capable to use the system, or they are well trained as per system functionality or not. Afterwards, their training, the user or we can say that operator can use the system, and production is start. Agreeing approach to managing deviation with approval of any supporting rationals, quality management of external service and application providers, means contractor, outsourcing, organization, etc. Specific operational quality activities can be delegated to variety of functions, provided that independence can be demonstrated. For example, IT department may have their own quality management system. Engineering department may have their own standard groups. Supplier and consultant may they authorized to assist. Any such delegation should be clearly defined and their respective roles agreed and documented as part of planning. In all circumstances, the quality unit retains ultimate responsibility and accountability for compliance with regulations. So, quality unit, corporate quality, operational quality is a different time to manage the quality. So it's depend upon company to company and may vary based on the how company is established and the process to manage the quality in that particular company. Then subject matter expert, we can say that SME. So the SME have the responsibility and knowledge of the particular system or particular process. We say that SME of validation, SME of the process, SME of the this manufacturing department. So SME of IT server, SME of HPLC. So SME are those individual with specific expertise in a particular area or field. Subject matter experts should take the lead role in the verification of computerized system. So some validation department is there, so they are SME of CSV, as we say that. Subject matter expert responsibility include planning and defining verification strategy, defining acceptance criteria for that system, selection and approval test method, execution of verification test, and reviewing the result. So, during all life cycle phases of the system, SME of computer system validation, which uh, which define the validation plan. Based on the plan, all the system or all the functionality are executed, tested with testing script, test case is there, and approval of all document is responsibility of for this SME CSV. So, activity of subject matter expert. Qualified and experienced SME have a key role in performing review and assessment and taking technical decision based on science-based process and product understanding and sound engineering principles. So it's maybe they are engineers or they are expert in automation automated system. So different SMEs may be involved with different activity. Example during specification or some are during verification. SME should take the lead role in the verification of the computerized system, means throughout the validation. Responsibility include planning and defining verification strategy, defining acceptance criteria, selection of appropriate test method, execution of verification test, and reviewing the result. So, throughout validation, SME of computer system validation is responsible to implement the system, to define validation strategy in validation plan, and to handle all test strategy during verification of IQ, OQ, and PQ. Then ensuring that your requirement is fulfilled and well tested and well verified throughout the validation. So these responsibilities are under SME of CSV. SME may come from a wide range of background. They are from IT, engineering, or supplier quality, or from validation. They are also the with BSc, MSc, or BPharm, MPharm. Then supplier, as we already discussed that supplier is a vendor which build the system or the to improve our to fulfill our requirement. An organization or individual internal or external to the user associated with the supply and or support of products to services at any phase throughout a system life cycle. So supplier must support throughout the life cycle of the system from its concept phase to retirement phase. So activity of supplier is provision of existing documentation for that system, preparation and review of documentation, performing and supporting testing, change and configuration management, acting as SME for technical aspect such as configuration and design option, supporting processes generated towards maintaining system compliance by providing software patches or any updation is there, any change management procedure with a system owner is there. So supplier provide the system based on our requirement. If any changes will be there, so supplier agreement is there, or we can say that supplier must have to provide support during any operation phase or any retirement phase. So supplier also have to support during retirement, that if we want some data or some capture some data from the system, so without supplier help we are unable to proceed for that. So supplier assessment is required, an agreement of supplier is there with the system. Then last one is end user. So generally we can say that all users which are going to use that system, they are called as end user, or we can say that employees are there. In addition to using the system in coordinate with approved procedure, end user also may be involved in the following activities throughout the life cycle. So activity of a end user is input to user requirements and specification, evaluation of prototype, testing, acceptance of system, and handover input to development of SOP of use of the system, reporting defects, identifying opportunities for improvement of the system. And thank you. So these are the terminology which must have to define during preparation of validation plan, which is defined as per GAMP-5. This one. If you define this strategy during preparation of validation plan, so your validation may be smooth and there is no any hurdles or no any people interfere to verify and for validation activity. So you must have to define this key terminology during preparation of validation plan. It may depends upon some particular person is there, some different role is there, different level means process owner is this name, or say some role is there, executive role, HOD of there. So whatever your company using the terminology and which level have this type of authority, so you can define by as per your company's role and responsibility. So that's it. Thank you, everyone. You are mute, sir.
Right. If you have any doubts for today's session or last two session, you can ask to sir. Nearly
Okay.
38 members are watching. Sir, recently Yashwant Karnataka is asked, can APQR documents shall be considered as retrospective validation?
Um,
I will show in this one.
can APQR documents have be
You
considered
are sure?
retrospective?
Here it is.
Yes, APQR may be retrospective because it's going to perform during production of any batch. Have you know the company system validation is done, the company is good or bad, which certification is to identify. So we generally identify that it is ISO certified companies or not, or any registration of companies is there. So based on that, we can verify, or we can also get some experience from which customer is using that software. So from that, you can ensure that the company is established and well supportive or not. If the system is retired and same software is no longer used in the facility, then there is request for the restoration. What can be the way found and how we can restore the system? It must define in your IT SOP that how to restore the system. So some companies taking the data in disk drive and then archive that drive based on any requirement or any question from audit. So archival procedure is there. Then retrieve that disk, then established in any server, and so uh, that restored data to fulfill the requirement of the audits. It is mandatory of performing revalidation after patch update or system in enhancement. It is not mandatory that based on any patch update, you may ask any document from the vendor. It is impact assessment. Based on impact assessment, any functionality is impacted for that patches. So you have to verify that functionality of that system, or you can proceed if no any impact on functionality. So no any validation is required if no any functionality is impacted. What are the tool for data migration? It's depend and vary based on system to system. If one system supported with another system by linkage with that, or any migration supported system, so new system can fetch that detail from old one. But there is no any standard that we define that data migration can happen by this software or this system. What is page update? Page update is a backend process with IT to fastest the system. So generally there is no impact on system functionality during patch update. How did we perform risk assessment and risk identification for a system? So based on the functionality and our requirement, we can perform the risk assessment. If the system get crashed, then install the same version. In that case, validation plan is required or not for doing CSV. So validation plan is already defined, and what we will going to validate the functionality during in future. So no need to prepare another same replica of that validation plan. Tell me the difference between ERES applicability and assessment. So ERES means electronic records and electronic signature, which is defined by FDA in 20 and CFR Part 11. So electronic records means reports are there with digitally signed, means with electronically signature is there. And the assessment is a risk assessment, which ensure that any risk is there for report generation, for audit generation. What are the steps to withdraw the old software? So it's based on system functionality and how a new system is going to face that any migration is there, any restoration of some data to new system is there. Depends and vary on system to system. So it is no any standard board. I can say that this step is going for that. Okay, anything else?
So somebody asked this one. You asked me.
Can you give live project demo of CSV or give example at every new console? I can't understand this question. Can you elaborate this?
Ankita, can you elaborate this question? Okay, this is different. This is different. Ravikiran Reddy is explaining to Ashok in that message very accurately.
One is asking that can you explain who is process owner, system owner, quality unit, SME, and end user for TrackWise system? So it's your internal system. So you must have to define who is responsible for that process, who is a system owner. It doesn't depend upon the system. The this functionality or who is the process owner, who is system owner is depend upon who will be responsible for that based on the management. So based on system, you can't define, but based on your process and business process is there. So based on business means hierarchy, you can verify or you can define this system owner, process owner, or SME is there. If the system does not have VRES, then we call that system as GXP. Yes, if it is used during manufacturing, any quality control system, any documentation preparation, then it is in GXP category. Is there any frequency to check restored data? It's defined based on IT and it's generally 5 to 10 years is there. So once the data is backup in the disk drive, there is no need to verify it if it is well restored or not. Okay,
Ankita, are you there?
I think she was asking that uh, she want to see live demo of any system
Okay,
per
maybe.
prospect of CSV. So it is not possible as of now because I can't explain or show any documentation of any company without his permission.
If any doubts, we will wait another 5 minutes. You can ask any doubts.
21 CFR Part 11 EU guidance. It's an open guideline, means you can verify and read from USFD website. So it's include digital signature and electronics records is there. So what the records have to mention means who printed it and at which time, all activity for the functionality change means if I change some parameters, so it must be recorded in the reports. Audit trail is there, means login how which time I log in and log out. So it will be reflected in audit trail. So you can refer 20 CFR Part 11 from USFD website. So all things regarding reports and audit trail is written, that how the looking and which will be contained in reports and system generated audit trail. What is the procedure to dispose the software? So it must be very well defined in IT policy. So how any absolute software will be handled and restored and archived for regulatory requirement. And generally, it's 25 years to record the hard disk uh, for archival. Whether risk assessment is mandatory for FTA requirements? Yes, as per GAMP-5, risk assessment is mandatory. What is initial salary to CSV program? How can we identify this job of pharmaceutical? So initially, you can get around 2 to 2.5 lakh package per annum. Uh, on and based on your any experience with pharma industries, or if you know the automated automation process means automation programming is there. So it's may vary based on technical knowledge. What is business risk in validation? So it's defined by your business team or say corporate team. Difference between SCADA, PLC, HMI system. So SCADA is supervisory control and data acquisition system. It's one type of operating system which represent the data with fluctuation, means with real time scenario. So I can set any parameter from SCADA and I can visualize that currently what the process is going. So that's called SCADA. PLC is a programmable logic controller. It's one type of CPU. So well defined or a well established program is there to confirm the functionality of the system. Or it's one type of automated CPU is there. So PLC is it is, and then HMI means human machine interface is the one type of lower version of, we can say, lower version of SCADA. Means the simple functionality is there. Means no any operating system is there. It's look like one type of KLC. So human machine interface, it's called HMI. Uh, business risk cover generally. What is the impact on business? Means your reputation is there. Any impact to crash down or to vanish the business. So if more risk based on the risk assessment, which impact the business, uh, that cover for business risk validation. What is the business continuity plan? It is not in scope of GAMP-5. But I want to add that business continuity plan cover any tragedies that any uh, tragedy is there. So how you handle that business? If any server crash, whatever, you have any option for that or not? So this type of functionality or in future happening will be covered in business continuity plan. What is system compatibility? Means system is capable to work with your environment or well defined procedure which you want from that system. That's called a system compatibility. Means no any hurdles during operation phase, during operation of that system and using of that system. What are GXP assessment and category? So GXP assessment is already covered in first session, with which is deliverables of compressed system validation, and the category of software and category of hardware are covered in the previous session. How we can challenge 90 days password expiry policy while doing CSV optimum method. So if any document is provided by vendor that's fulfill this type of requirement, so you can verify from it. Either you have to change the date and time of the system from with 90 days more, which is also covered in audit trial, and the system pop up that your password is expired. Based on that, you can verify this functionality of password expiry. Can we get sample risk assessment for understanding purpose? So next session is on risk assessment, how to define the risk and how to evaluate the risk. So you can get better understanding with some examples of risk assessment. What is the record management? So record management is one type of document management system, DMS, or how the record is handled with audit trial, with archival procedure, and retrieval procedure is there. Someone asking that you and Excel says that risk is mandatory. FDA does not say about risk is mandatory. Can you please? So nothing written that risk is mandatory, but how you can sure for your functionality that your functionality is working fine or there is no risk in your system. So based on risk, you identify the any risk is there. So based on risk criticality, you verify the functionality, or if any risk is does not mitigate, then you improve or you prepare some SOPs for that. So without risk, you are not sure for the system. After vendor qualification, when we do the CSV, so first prepare URS. Based on URS, vendor is finalized, or you prepare CSV activity parallel with vendor demo. that you can prepare a validation plan for it. Then afterwards, vendor is finalized, then you can proceed for GXP, risk assessment, design document, and IQOQ and BQ. Is it possible work from home job in CSP? It's depend upon system. If system is allow access remotely at your home and there is no physical testing is there, then you can do CSV job remotely at your home. You can explain the process of change control. So change control form is there, which is initiated by who want the changes. It means a system owner or say some department is there, or based on change control form. If any impact on another department is there, so you have to involve all department to initiate the change control and to approve the change control. What are the steps to ensure the release the software in production environment? It is based on your IT environment and server policy. So I can't explain that how to release in production environment. But if your system is well tested in test environment, based on your security and system release or interim VSR is there, so based on that VSR, you can release your software in production environment. Is CSV related to instrumentation department as admin? CSV is under many different department in pharma industry. Sometimes in it is under engineering department, sometimes it is in under IT department, sometimes QA is there. So it's very business based on company to company. And generally IT, QA, and engineering department is the system administrator. CSV should be done on quality environment on production environment. You can do both of them, or generally CSV is done on quality environment, or after quality environment is ready, which means functionality is verified, then your and SOPs are verified in production environment. CSV called as computer system validation as per GAMP-5.
Okay, almost 1 hour 20 minutes is completed. So I was telling from last 70 80 minutes. If any doubts are there, you can message your doubts in comment section. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, one
Okay,
and all.
thank you everyone.
Anything to tell me, sir?
No, nothing else. So can
Okay.
we over here?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Good night, all. If you have any doubts, message me personally, or you can comment below this video. Thank you. Bye bye.